Legacy Maker, the All Sports Network.
The place is here and the time is now. Let's take it round for round. And people gather round. Let's see who can win the crown. All the marbles involved. Football, baseball, or golf. Who's dominating the hoops? Who's talking false or the truth? Yeah, come and show me your war face. I'll show you my war face. No holds barred, so for your sake, you better show up in good shape. Valuable information is key to your domination. So focus on preparation. Online is your reputation. Yeah, it's one-on-one. You and me, ain't no fear in me. You will see. When it comes to this, you'll be wearing the number 23. In debate, I hold my weight cause these sports I'm attached to it. Your legacy, get ready cause I'm gonna set a match to it. Hey. Burn 'em. Fire, 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 burn 'em. Fire, 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 burn 'em. Fire, 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 legacy on fire. Fire, 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 burn 'em. Fire, 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 legacy on fire. Fire, 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 burn 'em. Fire, 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 legacy on fire.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Legacy on Fire here on the Legacy Maker Sports Network, and of course, airing on Bowie Television. With me today, I got two of the best in the game. To my left, co-founder of the Legacy Maker Sports Network, Mr. Jeremiah Quimby. What's up, sir?
Not much, man. Besides my blood pressure.
Yeah, I'm right there. I'm right there with you. And right underneath, our man, part of the Legacy Maker Sports Network, Mr. James Brown. How you doing, James?
Doing good, man.
Feeling pretty good. He's looking like he's feeling pretty good. He's feeling pretty good. That's what it is.
Can't complain. Can't complain.
Hey, look, we are a week away. This time next week, we'll be talking NFL football. I got an MRI this time next week, but that's besides the point. So I'll be hoping for the best while the games are going on.
I will be in the magical land of Disney.
Yeah, Disney World next week. Oh, see, there you go. So everybody's got something going on next week. James, like, I got a football. I got some football to attend to. You guys. Well, look, everybody, we're glad to have you all with us today. We got a lot to get into. Right before we came on, we got some news, so we're gonna kind of get into that before we kind of get into one sentence. So we'll talk about this real quick. So right before we came on the air, Brandon Ayuk staying in San Francisco as he signs a 4-year, $120 million extension with the 49ers. Fellas, just kind of real quick, I wanted your thoughts on this move and all this grandstanding for a whole bunch of months, and then he ends up staying there. Jay, I'll start with you first. What are your thoughts on Brandon Ayuk staying with San Francisco?
Not shocked. I mean, it's they sign one wide receiver that's always hurt. That way, so they can keep him with the other wide receiver that's always hurt. It's great strategy. It really is.
And look, and then they drafted a wide receiver, and he's hurt right now. It can't catch a break. They drafted the first round wide receiver. He's hurt, and they do have T.O.'s son. So, unless he got cut, because I don't know, not even for sure. I haven't even checked.
I don't think he's been cut. I've been stalking the cuts because I know we actually cut a guy I wanted to keep, and De La Roche.
Well, you do have a quarterback from Green Bay. Congratulations. Our 7th round pick is now Tampa Bay Buccaneer.
I appreciate that because from what they're saying, he's better than Kyle Trash.
He did decent things for us during the preseason. I think he will be great, for you guys. So, Merry Christmas. We couldn't keep all the quarterbacks. We went to go see if Malik Willis is going to be worth the time of the day, but that's another story for another time. Well, let's go ahead and get this bad boy truly started with one sentence. Give him the bag. Ladies and gentlemen, CeeDee Lamb gets the bag. He's rich now, just like Brandon Ayuk. So, right now, those two, with Lamb being the highest paid overall receiver, but on a per year basis, Ayuk is the highest paid receiver. So we saw what CeeDee Lamb done last year. It was great. It was absolutely amazing last year for Dallas. And, you know, there was a point towards the end of the year we saw people say, hey, this guy could be the MVP. That's how well he played last year. Definitely was in the running for the offensive player of the year. But, you know, it's hard to take that one for Christian McCaffrey. So, fellas, just kind of get your one sentence on CeeDee Lamb getting paid. James, I'll start with you first. What's your one sentence on CeeDee Lamb getting paid?
Jerry finally costs up the cash. I mean, we all knew at some point Jerry Jones was going to strike the contract to make CeeDee Lamb a Cowboy for the next few seasons. It was just a matter of if, a matter of when, not if. At this point, we know that Jerry loves to keep his own players. We know he loves to draft his own guys and pay those guys to perform well. CeeDee was one of those guys that he was high on since he came out. Forced him into wearing number 88. I mean, he's always taking care of his guys in 88 for the most part. CeeDee Lamb fits that tradition, fits that style. So he's going to be the Cowboy for the next few seasons. The one thing I find interesting about the deal, though, since it is another top-of-market deal, Jerry's got two other guys that are looking for top-of-the-market type deals. Is he going to be able to pay everybody? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, that's the kicker, because you still got to figure out Parsons, and you also got to figure out Dak. Where they gonna get all this money from? Jay, what's your one sentence on CeeDee Lamb getting paid?
I mean, we knew he was going to get paid, but every time we see a Dallas Cowboy player get paid, they go. So, I mean, I hope he doesn't fall off, because like you said, last year he had a great season. I hope he has another good season, because, you know, seeing Cowboys wide receivers have good seasons is always good for the NFL market. Ask Brandon Ayuk.
And that's true. I mean, and you know, the crazy thing about it is, like, we know that he's really good. You know, great. Okay, all right. I'm sorry, real quick. So they said, I gotta throw this in before we go. It says Ayuk will make $47 million over the next 215 days. He'll be paid $47 million between now and April the 1st. So I tell you what, they figured it out though. More kudos to him. But with Lamb, I really think that they got a cornerstone piece. But what is going to happen if they don't have nobody to throw the ball to him? Because last time I checked, if Dak decides to deuce out, if they don't, you know, try to franchise tag him, you know, I saw Trey Lance's last performance. That 2 touchdown 5 pick extravaganza was not fun. Now, it was a preseason game, but that's bad in a preseason game.
That makes it even worse.
That's what makes it worse.
You throwing 5 picks.
That's where you take and you have CeeDee Lamb suit up for the other team and play corner. He'll catch it.
Yeah, something's got to give, because it's going to be a lot of money there. So CeeDee gets paid. More kudos to you, but Dallas, you still got 2 more to pay.
Well, and they brought in Dalvin Cook too.
They did. You know, I gotta say this real quick before we move to the next topic. When I look at this lineup that Dallas has now, my cousin hit me up. He was like, Darrell, you said, look, man, he said, we just signed Dalvin Cook. I said, this lineup would have been a beast 5 years ago. Man, you got Cook. You would have had Zeke. Could you imagine have Zeke and Cook at the same time 5 years ago? Woo! Boy, we talking about they got to win the Super Bowl. You got that with the lineup they have now.
The 2018 All-Star lineup.
Yeah. I mean, they were ready for business, but I don't know. I'm not gonna hate to say it, but I think we've seen the best that Dalvin Cook has to offer. Injuries, they didn't play him that much with the Jets. They didn't play him that much with the Ravens after they signed him. He just kind of was there. So, I mean, he's starting off with the practice squad with Dallas, and they've got like 5 running backs there right now that are just running back by committee. So I guess we'll see. You know, I guess we'll see. On our next one sentence. Some more NFC East situations, and this rarely happens. A trade inside of the NFC East, where we saw the Washington Commanders trade Jahan Dotson to the Philadelphia Eagles. This one came as a shock. Well, I'll put it this way. It came as a shock that the trade happened within the division. The vibe was he was going to get traded or released at some point. He was not having a good camp. He didn't have a good end part of last year. You saw the struggles kind of just happening, and you said,
he even had a drop in his last game.
He had a drop in his last game, and it just didn't seem like things were clicking. And so I'm not surprised that he got traded, but I am interested to hear you guys one sentence. Jay, I'll start with you. What's your one sentence on Jahan Dotson to Philly?
It gave him a reason to cut John Ross. So I mean, the best thing here would have been for, and I hate to say this, Atlanta to make a move to go after him.
Oh man, Atlanta need more firepower like that.
What would be the downside of having another wide receiver with talent?
It wouldn't have. I and I think Dotson kind of needed to change the scenery. It just was.
Yeah.
I hate to say this, but he's no longer the coach there. But whatever voodoo that Ron Rivera and that staff had last year just changed a lot of atmospheres for a lot of players on their team. I mean, the Commanders said, you know what? They tried to erase every bit of Ron Rivera history with these cuts. They cut some players I didn't even think were going to get cut, like KJ Henry. I was very surprised because he was having a really good preseason. They cut him. He ends up with Cincinnati. They cut Chris Rodriguez, but they brought him back on the practice squad. There was a couple of players that they cut. Martavius Bryant, even they signed him late. He had a good preseason. He scored the game-winning touchdown in the preseason game on Sunday, and they still cut him. And he hasn't signed with anybody yet. So it's a very interesting time in Washington. But I like Adam Peters, and I think he's got the right. He's going to figure that thing out in Washington. James,
they got a plan.
They got a plan, right? They got a plan. James, we head to you. What's your one sentence on Jahan Dotson to Philly?
My one sentence is kind of a classic. One man's trash is another man's treasure.
I like that.
Howie Roseman kind of does it again, man, where he travels to Scrap Heap. He gets Jahan Dotson for pennies on the dollar, and now he has one of the top wide receiver threes in the league for the next couple seasons locked up for mere pennies. I mean, we've seen that the wide receiver market is exploding, and here Howie Roseman just went out and added an extra wide receiver who's going to be your main guy in the slot more than likely, that's going to be taking on safeties and possibly even linebackers for, the next couple seasons. I mean, he's got 2 years left and then a possible 5th-year option since he was a first-round pick. And then you could possibly even franchise tag him after that. So, they control his contract for the next few seasons here. And so they get cheap labor out of this one and with high upside. So I like the move for Philly. I mean, that now gives them A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and now you have Jahan Dotson, 3 good receivers for Jalen Hurts. Not to mention you still have Dallas Goedert. I mean, it could be scary this year in Philly, man. And to Jay's point, while it would be nice to have an extra receiver in Atlanta, there's another guy out there that I kind of had my eye on that could possibly also be had for cheap. John Mechie from Houston, and we know Houston has a loaded wide receiver room.
They got
if we could flip a little something late to Houston for Mechie in Atlanta, I'll take that.
Yeah, he's going to be I heard he's a hot commodity right now. People are still trying to trade for him. So
and don't forget that in this year's draft, the Eagles went and got Johnny Wilson, the giant from Florida State.
How many more people? I don't know how Philly does it. Howie Roseman is the man. I tell people Howie Roseman to me is the best GM in football. He just finds ways to give the team one hope, give the fan base hope, and just they're never not going to try. And I think most fans can appreciate the fact that he's never not going to try. That's the part I can say. Like if they say, "Oh, the Eagles need this," they're gonna try to find it. It's not just not going to happen. They're going to try to find it. So Jahan Dotson, good luck with everything. I know he had some issues. I know his mom has been sick. I believe his mom has cancer. And from what I've heard from a couple people, and he's from that area. So I don't know if low key this is going to help him a little bit with being closer to mom. And if I'm wrong about that, y'all yell at me later. But if what I heard is true and that is the case, then, prayers to his mom, but also it's a good thing because he'll be closer to his mom if all that is true. So our prayers out to her if that is the case. All right, ladies and gentlemen, now it's time for the fire starters. With these fire starters, our first fire starter has to do with the NFL draft, and you're like, Darrell, the NFL draft's so far away. That never stops on here on the Legacy Makers Network. We still gonna talk draft. This one is interesting because we've seen some players from both of these drafts. The 2013 class has been, a lot of people say, is the worst class they've ever seen. 2022, in my opinion, and some other people's opinions, is right up there with it. We saw Kenny Pickett was the only quarterback drafted in the first round, and he was the 20th pick. And that's rare in a draft that you see a quarterback go that far. They go that far behind, and not top 5, top 10, something in that range. And he was the 20th pick of that draft. And after that, the next pick was Malik Willis, who is now a Packer, and he's the backup. So I just kind of want to know from you guys, who do you feel like is the worst draft class? James, I'll start with you first. Between 2013 and 2022, and just for those out there trying to wonder who's on that 2013 class, that's EJ Manuel, Geno Smith. Early Geno was rough. So those are the type of players in that one. James, what are your thoughts on this one?
Without question, this is 2013 draft class. I mean, those guys were awful. EJ Manuel was the only quarterback that year taken in the first round. I think he was 16 to Buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
And we haven't heard from EJ Manuel since. I think now he's on TV, possibly, like calling games. And we still really don't hear from EJ Manuel like that. Geno Smith, like you said,
heard from him last year.
You said our lawyer did?
Our lawyer, Darrell knows what I'm talking about.
Oh, wow. Yeah, we'll keep that one off the air. Second, we had Geno Smith in that class. I mean, like you said, Geno had a rough time in New York. Then he bounced around for a bit. And then it looked like he showed out in Seattle, got the contract, and it's like Geno reverted back to being the old Geno. It's like, I know he had that one great line about how, the people wrote him off, but he ain't right back. I think last season he was checking them letters again because Buddy was acting like trash. Then we go down the list even further. Matt Barkley was drafted in the 2013 draft class. Landry Jones. More and more guys that you're just like, who? Wait, what? Huh? And, compared to the 2022 class, yes, it was rough. Yes, Kenny Pickett was a first-round quarterback. No, Kenny Pickett should not have been taken in the first round. As Darrell said, I think the next guys up were Desmond Ridder and Malik Willis, taken in the third. They probably shouldn't have been drafted there. The one saving grace that the 2022 class has is the last quarterback that was taken off the board, and that was Brock Purdy. He got his team to a Super Bowl. Granted, it might be more so because of the pieces around Brock Purdy and the coaching around Brock Purdy, but I don't think anybody from the 2013 draft class has even sniffed the Super Bowl. So I rest my case. 2022 quarterback draft class is better. 2013 is the worst draft class for QBs we have ever seen.
Poor 2013. I know Sam Howell also in that 2022 class, and Sam's had a rocky road.
Take him over EJ Manuel or Geno Smith. Hell, the Seahawks traded for Sam Howell, and they have Geno Smith.
Dude, that's true. That's true. Jay, we head to you. And I know you're ready for this one. What's the worst draft class between 13 and 22?
I agree. 13 is the worst. I mean, the one player that got paid the most out of that class was Mike Glennon, just to show up to be a Bear.
Oh, Mike Glennon. Oh, my God. Mike Glennon was my guy for a while, though.
I don't know why.
Because, look, no, wait a minute, James. The only reason why I say, because I felt like in Chicago he got a bad rap. Because at those first couple games, those receivers just weren't catching the ball. You got to go back and watch the tape. It was bad. I'm sorry, Jay. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, it's all right, because I liked having Glennon down as our starter because he was not a bad quarterback. He's the guy that took over for Russell Wilson in Carolina. So, I mean, I don't hate him, but it was a Shiano draft pick because they had they used him to get rid of Freeman.
Remember Josh Freeman? Wow.
Well, that's because they wanted to mess with his mechanics.
There's a name. Josh Freeman was all right for a while. Was it like a year or so that he had like a couple solid years? And yeah, Josh.
Then all of a sudden he decided, you could see it in his delivery, he was letting go of the ball too soon, so they were all high.
Oh man, sometimes you just gotta let it be, man. Sometimes you gotta let it be.
But if that's what Greg Schiano, the Russ, this one's for you, had to come in and mess with everything.
Yeah, Shiano's everybody's best friend. Ain't that right? Look, Mr. Blunt would have other things to say about that. Our next one on the fire starters. The NFL season is right around the corner. Now, obviously, we're going to also give our predictions for the division that they will actually, and it's not something, but we're also going to talk probably give a quick Super Bowl prediction as well. But with this, top 5 MVP candidates heading into the 2024 NFL season, and I can't wait to see what you guys have. Jay, I'll start with you first, man. Like, give me your top 5 MVP candidates heading into the NFL season.
So my first 3 are your usual, guys: CMC, Lamar Jackson, and Mahomes. After that, I have Stroud and Love. Stroud with Diggs down there. If they let him go, I think it'll be good. And Jordan Love, he showed what he had last year. If he can continue to build upon that, he'll be fine. Dark horse, Aaron Rodgers, as long as all his, ligaments keep up with him.
I will. I don't, me. I'm not gonna baptize Love just yet because this is a way tougher season. It's going to be like, the lineup is tough.
Yeah,
if he can get through this lineup, then I'll be like, all right, cool.
That schedule is tough as hell.
That schedule is crazy. I was looking at it. I was like, who put this together? This is a setup. So if they can make it like win 9, if they go 9-8, I'll be happy with that. Seriously, like that schedule is a beast in Green Bay. But like the list, James, we head to you. Give us your top 5 MVP candidates.
All right. I mean, we all know at this point, MVP is a quarterback award. I think the last non-quarterback to win it was like Adrian Peterson back in 2012.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Stat check that if you can. But it's been a minute. So it's probably gonna be a quarterback again this upcoming season. So my list would be, of course, Patrick Mahomes is gonna be at the top of that. Even if he doesn't win it, he's truly the MVP of the league. I mean, he's the one player that all other 31 teams would definitely trade for if he was available. Second, I would have Josh Allen. Even though he lost Stephon Diggs, it seems like they found a good replacement in Keon Coleman. But then also, I feel like, as far as pay-wise, he's starting to fall back from that top list of guys. And, he's the type of quarterback where he's another dual threat like Lamar, where he can also beat you with his arm and his legs. And I think we see a little bit more of that this season. And so those numbers in the rushing department, I think, will kind of help him out as well. That could propel him to winning his first MVP award. Third, I'm going to go with one of the guys on Jay's list, CJ Stroud, coming from Houston. He had the phenomenal season last year. I think at one point last year, he was even like a dark horse MVP candidate towards the end of the season. This year, they go out, they get him Stephon Diggs, they add to that offense, they get him Joe Mixon in the backfield. I think that'll help boost his numbers even more. As long as they're winning games down there in Houston, he's a shoe-in to be at least in the talks. So I think he could definitely be in there. And then I know it's not going to happen, but for my last 2 guys, they're going to be non-quarterbacks. Tyreek Hill in Miami. I mean, we know what he wants. He wants to get that first 2,000-yard season for a receiver. Tua's got his money now. Waddle's got his money. Mike McDaniel's still there. We know they love slinging the rock down in Miami. Tyreek Hill, if he stays healthy this year, if he plays all 17 games, he could possibly crack 2,000. And if it's a down quarterback year, maybe we see him win it. And then I'm going to give the defensive side some love. I'm going to say Micah Parsons. I'm going to have him as my 5th guy. We all know that he's a threat coming off the edge to sack the quarterback, and he's looking to get paid. So if he has a 20-plus sack season, Dallas makes the playoffs, wins the first game, possibly makes it to an NFC championship, I mean, we could see, I know it's given out before the postseason starts, but we could see Micah Parsons be in talks for having an MVP caliber season if he cracks 20-plus sacks out there in Dallas this year.
Look, he's trying to get paid.
We all got dreams.
He's trying to get paid, and he wants top of the market money.
Hey, if you want top of the market money, that's the way to go do it. Be the first defensive player to win the MVP since what, Lawrence Taylor? It's been a long. I was too.
And it's like, at that point, Jerry's going to have to open up the pocketbook. He's going to have to sell the super yacht and just use that money and pay it to Michael.
And James, you were right. It was 2012 Adrian Peterson.
Man,
the last non.
It's been a hot minute. It's been a hot minute. My top 5.
Like 12 years?
Yeah, 12 years. It's been, and before then it was like him. LaDainian won it one time in between then. I think the last receiver to win it was probably Jerry Rice Yeah, I'm not even 100% sure about that, but I feel like that's the answer. It was probably about like 20, 25, maybe 30 years ago. But anyway, my top 5 for MVP, I got Mahomes in there. Mahomes is Mahomes, so I'm not gonna go too crazy on that. CMC, I think that he would have won it. I think he could have won it last year if the 49ers had finished stronger. He was just on fire, and then he did also have Purdy taking votes away from him, so I think that kind of hurt him. Purdy was having a really good year, just statistically, like just going to breaking like 49er records and best I think like completion percentage, some crazy stuff like that. He was breaking records, so I got CMC in there. I also have Tyreek Hill, and I have Stroud. Something about Stroud, I feel like this is the year Stroud wins it. That's even though I got a feeling he's going to win it, and maybe we hyping it too much. But if Houston does what I think they can do, and they don't revert back, because teams in that division like to revert back, they have great years and they revert back. If they don't revert back, I think he could be the one. But I have a defensive player too, but I went with a team that I think is going to be I hate to see him say a dark horse, but I don't think nobody expects him to like go crazy. But I really think Myles Garrett is going to have a really good, he had a good defensive player of the year last year. I think he's going to have a really good season this year. I think Cleveland might shock some people this year. Like, yeah, they shocked people last year, but if they can get Watson on the right path, and they are, I just feel like they're going to surprise people. I don't know.
Did you see they reworked his deal because he hasn't been playing?
Yeah, they was like, hey man, look, you gotta save us some dough here, bro. We being honest with you.
I mean, it's all guaranteed anyway. They just got rolled over.
But they got
it's
like
still coming.
$50 million now in cap space.
Yeah. So and they needed it because if they want to keep some of those players, it's going to have to happen. He gonna get his money at some point.
87 is when Jerry Rice won it.
Is he the last one?
The last wide receiver.
Yeah, he's the last wide receiver.
The only one I saw on the list.
Gee, that's crazy work. And then I knew it's been a long time, but man, that tells you like if it's not quarterback or running back, it just seems like it ain't happening. Running back ain't happening in 12 years. All right, everybody, that's it for the fire starters. Now we'll go ahead and head on over to the main. All right, so with our main flame this evening, we're finishing up our NFL previews. We've been through the entire league so far, and today we finish up with the AFC and NFC West. And so we've seen last year that the 2 Super Bowl participants came out of both of these divisions. So we saved. I guess we saved the best for last. I guess. I guess, but.
James, you're a Broncos fan.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, our poor Broncos fans. We gotta pray for them. They go through some tough times. I can hear Lamont and Larry cussing right now. I can hear both of them cussing right now. James, I'll start with you first, man. Give us your division preview for the AFC West and the NFC West.
All right. I'll start with the AFC West. In 4th place. It's no surprise. This is the Denver Broncos. They just drafted Bo Nix. They have announced he's going to be the starting quarterback for the season. We all know with most rookie quarterbacks, there's some growing pains there. I think Nix will have some of those this year, learning Sean Payton's system, but then learning how to play at the NFL level. There's going to be some adjustments they're going to have to make. And then, I think they're still suffering from some of the dead cap loss from having to move on from Russell Wilson. So they're not able to fill out their roster probably to Payton's liking. So I think this year is going to be a down year. They're going to be in 4th place. But the future could look bright for Broncos fans out there, just not this season. 3rd place, a little bit of surprise. I'm going to have the Chargers in 3rd place. I feel like really with Justin Herbert's plantar fasciitis injury on his right foot, I think that's going to be his lead leg for throwing because he's right-handed. I feel like that's a bigger injury than what they're letting on. I mean, he hasn't played in the preseason. He hasn't really been active a whole lot. I think at this point he's expected to be ready for week 1, but you never know. That could be in doubt. And then also once he starts playing, we don't know how that foot's going to hold up. So that could kind of deter everything that Harbaugh wants to do out there in LA. Not to mention you just had to trade for Taylor Heineke. I mean, that kind of indicates that, hey, Herbert may need some time, or hey, he may need, a week or two just to kind of get that foot right for the remainder of the season. So I have the Chargers in third. The Raiders I'm going to have in second. Again, they got Max Crosby. They went out, they added, what's my guy's name? The D tackle. Wilkins. They added Wilkins on the defensive side to help out with Crosby. They have some good guys in the secondary. Offensively, we know they still have Devontae Adams, one of the top wide receivers in the league. Gardner Minshew, he's not a long-term answer. I don't think Aiden O'Connell is either. But they showed last season that they have enough fight in them under Antonio Pierce as their coach to win some games. We all remember that Christmas Day game when they stunned the Chiefs in Kansas City. So, the Raiders, I think this year they'll have a little bit more feistiness to them, thanks to their coaching staff. But, I got them in second right now. First place, of course, is the Chiefs. They're the champs. They're the reigning league champions. Patrick Mahomes, best quarterback in the league. They have one of the best defensive players in the league in Chris Jones. They have a great secondary. And Andy Reid is the best coach right now in the NFL. I mean, I don't care how you slice it, how you look at it. He's number one. He's been doing it for years at this point, and it's almost like at this point, it's all right. We know the Chiefs are going to make the playoffs. Are they going to be the first seed or not? That's the only way I think anybody at this point beats them in the AFC is if somebody else can dethrone them from that number one seed. So I have Broncos, Chargers, Raiders, Chiefs in the AFC side. Switching it over to the NFC, fourth place, it's the Seahawks. Again, they have a brand new head coach and Mike McDonald coming over from Baltimore. He's got to figure some things out now as being the head guy in charge. It's going to be a little bit different from being the D coordinator, but then also their quarterback situation. Geno Smith is there. We were just talking about that 2013 class that he was a part of. I don't know if fans really have that faith in him this year, or the organization probably doesn't either, or else you don't go out and make a trade for Sam Howell at this point. So I think offensively they struggle a little bit. We're starting to see guys like DK and Tyler Lockett. They're starting to age a little bit. I think Lockett's definitely like on the backside of 30 now. So again, that's a guy where eventually they may look to have to replace him. Their running game is stout with Kenneth Walker and Charbonnet. I just don't think it's enough this year compared to the rest of their division. I have the Cardinals coming in at third. Kyler's back. He's healthy. They got him weapons and Marvin Harrison Jr., Trey McBride at tight end. The defense looks like it's coming together under Jonathan Gannon. I think the Cardinals could possibly surprise a couple people this upcoming year, so I got them in third. Second, it's the Los Angeles Rams. The Rams probably have the second or third best head coach in the league in Sean McVay. They still have Matthew Stafford. If they can keep him upright, keep him healthy, they'll definitely be in a lot more games this season. I have them in second. And then, of course, in first place, I have the San Francisco 49ers. They just tied up another end today and bringing in Brandon Ayuk back into the fold. Now we just got to get Trent Williams back out there on the field at left tackle, and they'll be back to kicking butt, dominating, winning games like they were last year.
Man, how much money does San Francisco have? They
still haven't found a wheelchair for Trent Williams to get out there.
Hey man, Trent Williams still giving them the business, man.
Trent don't need a wheelchair. He need a pay bump. He need a
either that, or they're gonna have to give him an armored truck and say, "Hey man, bring that jank to my house because I'm not coming out here until you bring that truck out here." Now, I will say this about Seattle. Look. I know it's a preseason, but the way I saw Sam Howell look in those preseason games, his confidence level is way different than what it was when he was in DC. He looked way more confident throwing the football. He looked like he had time throwing the football. And there was a couple passes he threw. I said, man, that was the Sam Howell. I was like, Washington got themselves a jewel if they'd done right. It just wasn't done right. But I really like that move to Seattle for him because even if he's not the starter, if Geno does go by the wayside, it gives him a chance to continue to learn. And like I said, it was the preseason, but he did play with some of the starters in the preseason. I think it was that second game when he went like 11 for 14 and he was cooking. I said, whoo! I said, now that's the Sam Howell that I thought that, that was supposed to be the number one pick if he'd have came out in 2021. But it's early and I don't want to, I don't want to hype it too much, but I did like what I saw from him, man. Like We'll see. We'll see. Jay, we head to you, brother. AFC West and NFC West predictions. What do you got?
Going AFC, I've got the Denver Broncos last. I like what I've seen from Bo Nix, but like you said, James said, that playbook is something that you have to study for, almost like the SATs. So and defensively, there's too many holes. They lost one of their best secondary players in Simmons to the damn Falcons. And so I don't see him winning more than 6 games. Next, I got Vegas because I just think they're trash. Besides Max Crosby and Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams was so badly wants to be traded.
I know he wants to go bad.
It's not even, funny. They've drafted tight end high twice in the last 2 drafts and haven't used them. So I don't know. Like, I love Antonio Pierce as a coach. I think giving him an opportunity is a great idea, but it's Vegas. They're going to suck for a while. Minshew is Minshew. They'll sell a lot of, fake mustaches because people can't grow them.
That's crazy.
But, at number 2, I got the Chargers just because Harbaugh is somewhat of an offensive mind, so he'll be able to score points. I don't like him. I hope they don't win any games, but Herbert's that Liz Frank thing is huge because look what it did. I think it took Eli Manning out for 1 season because he couldn't plant and throw. So I mean that's definitely something you don't want to deal with. First place, I got the Chiefs just because it's the Chiefs. I think since Mahomes has been there, they've won the division every year. Darrell?
Yes.
I'm just making sure. Am I wrong?
No, they've won the division every year since 2019, I think. I think it's been since 2019, since they went to the Super Bowl the first time.
Okay, yeah, 19. But in the NFC, I've got Seattle last. They made a big mistake when they let Canales go. When he came down and revitalized Baker's career with Tampa, and now he's going to try to do the same thing with Young, which I don't think Young needs. His career hasn't started. He just needs a high chair. But in second place, I have Arizona. Kyler Murray's going to ball out. Watch. We'll get to see the Kyler Murray we've seen in his rookie year. Third place, we have the Rams. They need to protect old man Stafford with everything they got. Donald's gone, so that defense is gonna be so vulnerable to a lot of things. We'll get to see how good their secondary really is. And of course, first San Francisco because they put points up like nobody else.
I like. So there it is, Jay's AFC West and NFC West previews. All right, I'm gonna throw. All right, so for me, in the AFC, I got the Broncos finishing last, which means they'll finish second. And then then I got the Chargers. With the Chargers, I'm just trying to figure out if Herbert is there or who are they throwing the ball to? Because I can't name the receiver. I know Lab McClunky that they drafted. I don't know the other receivers that they have. Who are they throwing the ball to? I don't know their tight ends. They did the only tight end I did know they released, and that was Everett. And I think they released Palm too. So they released both of their tight ends. I don't know who he has there.
DJ Chark. They drafted
gonna be hurt.
Quentin Johnston last year.
Oh, okay, he didn't. It was rough last year.
Well, he was based off last season.
It was rough. It was real rough. So I got the Chargers.
We caught more passes here.
To be honest with you, I might need to switch that. I might have to put the Chargers last now the more I think about it, because I feel like when on the Broncos, definitely they let Tim Patrick go. So it's gonna be a tie. They don't have
any wide receivers either.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tie. So we're just gonna put them tie for third last in the division. I got the Raiders finishing second.
Is that even possible?
It's gonna have to happen this year. I got the Raiders finishing second. I don't think that Minshew is gonna oh my God, they're gonna win 12 games or nothing like that. But Minshew is a very solid quarterback.
He's serviceable.
He's a very serviceable quarterback.
He's a good stopgap.
Yep.
He's good for a season or two, and then it's like, hey, look, you got to get him out of there.
Right. Now I don't expect him to go out here and this may be good enough for 1 year because I think they're gonna try to make the push to get Sanders. I don't know how they're gonna make it happen. Dion has already kind of sprinkled that in the atmosphere, a couple months ago that they're not gonna play for anybody but these 3 teams. And I think it was the Raiders, the Giants, and I don't know why he would want to do that. The Raiders, the Giants, and somebody else. I can't think of who the other team was, but I got a feeling somehow Sanders ends up there, and it's going to be very marketable when the time does come. He's gonna look real cool in the black and gold. Nike's already signed the money. It's already done deal. It's in the script. And then I got the Chiefs. I got the Chiefs finishing first. I mean, look, Xavier Worthy, and just the sample size I seen, I said, boy, this is gonna be a problem. They got I won't say 2 Tyreek Hills, but they got 2 guys that have Tyreek Hill tendencies, and Hollywood Brown, and then you got Xavier Worthy, who is maybe just as fast, if not faster, than Tyreek Hill. So you got a guy who's run a 4.2.
He's got club hands.
Well, we're gonna find out. He may in the club hand might not make a difference. He's super open. He be sitting there waiting for like, all right, come on. He done destroyed everybody. So we'll see, but. I do think the Chiefs will find a way to, I doubted them last year. I'm not going to doubt them again this year. I got the Chiefs right now the way I've had the Patriots for years. Until somebody can prove that they can beat them, until I can see it, that the Chiefs are where it's at. In the NFC, I got the Cardinals finishing last, and I think this division is going to be really competitive this year because them having Kyler back is big. But I think they do finish last. Harrison, I think, will have a solid season. McBride, I think, is really going to take a big step on the tight end front. So watch out for Trey McBride this year. I think he has a really good year. I got Seattle finishing third. I don't know.
I think we really sleep on DK Metcalf.
Yeah, I think too. I think that too, but it's just I don't know yet.
You gotta have somebody that gets in the ball consistently,
right.
Though.
I need to know if we're gonna get Geno from 2 years ago or Geno from last year. But I will say if somehow, some way that Sam Howell comes in there and does what I think he could do, maybe. And then second, I'm gonna get beat up for this, but this is for all the 49ers fans because I know that y'all know every time I pick against y'all win, right? So I'm gonna do it here. I think the 49ers will finish second, but it will be by tiebreaker. I think the Rams and the 49ers will have the same record, but I think the Rams are going to beat them twice this year. They're going to get them. It's been close the last couple of years, but they haven't been able to get them. They lost in the NFC Championship game 2 years ago. They lost in 2 barn burners last year, and they were close games. They're going to catch them this year, both times. So they'll be like both teams will be like 12-5, and that's the only way that they'll have them. So I got the Rams. I got the Rams winning the division. I'll go with that. I don't. It's easy to pick the 49ers. I wanted to, but I want 49ers fans to hate me. They hate me, and so fair is fair, I guess. All right, that is it for our AFC West and NFC West predictions. Now we're gonna finish this bad boy up. We're gonna put out the fire.
Fire, fire, burn on. Fire, 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 burn on. Fire, 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 legacy on fire.
And the 49ers fans are they're gonna crucify me, man. They do it every year. They don't like me, and that's okay. I don't like y'all.
I love reading those comments on Facebook about why you got to do that.
Every time, look, it's crazy. Every time that I pick against the 49ers, they win, and they complain. I'm like, bro, every time I pick, y'all see this. Every time I pick them to win, they lose, and then they tell me something. Why did you pick them?
Because that team. Or that Texas team.
Or the Texas team. So like I don't understand it, but hey, so I stopped. I got to the point last year, I was just like, whatever. But yeah, they were getting upset with me. It's okay. All right, now it's time that we put out the fire. Jay, I know yesterday we talked a little bit of something about some NIL, so I don't know if that's going to be on your fire front today, but Jay, go ahead and put out the fire.
I'll split it with it because the NCAA needs to figure out what they're going to do with this NIL stuff because now states are making laws. And there's a young man, I believe it's from North Carolina, that plays for a private school and cannot get an NIL deal. But there's another young man that plays for a private school that gets NIL money in North Carolina. So his mom is suing the state because of it. I mean, this NIL stuff I understand it. Hey, what's up, Donovan? When are you going to come visit Darrell and I since you're in Virginia? But,
he's in Virginia? Oh, shoot.
Yeah, he's been at Fort Lee since June.
Oh.
But it's just the NIL deals. They need to start signing contracts with the actual universities. It's going to have to be the way they said. They're going to have to make all the players employees of the university. It's just crazy. My other thing is, though, let's give WNBA women a little credit. Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark have changed the way we look at that game. So, I mean, I'm excited to see where it's going to go from here. Hopefully we can find a couple more young ladies that sparks the interest of the sport.
Don't worry, Juju's coming. Juju's coming. We got Juju and Paige coming around the corner here in the next year. I'm gonna tell you what, the WNBA is about to be lit. And I agree with you. Let's give WNBA credit because there's a lot of non-baseball fans out here. I love baseball. You love baseball. James, maybe not so much, but
maybe come World Series time.
Maybe come World Series time.
Catch me at the end of it. It's too long. Too long.
But what the WNBA did this summer, once the NBA season ended, was they kept a lot of fans' interest, piqued that interest. And that was the whole point of having the WNBA in the summertime, is to keep that, obviously keep away from the NBA as much as possible during the regular season, but also to kind of give, hey, it's summertime and we still have that alternative league. And we finally got that. I mean, we're talking way more about the WNBA than we've had since probably the first 4 years.
But you look forward to seeing one of those two young ladies, if not both of them, on the field or on the floor at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, when the All-Star
Angel Reese shoots those 3-point bricks.
Yeah, Angel Reese, you're an inside player. Stay there. But during the All-Star game, when they were on the same team together, the hype of Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark being on the same team, and they made that one pass. Like Clark did a little. It was the most simple pass. It was like a little dish pass to Angel, and she scored 2 points. And people talked about it like it was like she had went across the middle and just like Anthony Edwards somebody in that bad boy. That's the difference, that we're seeing from the WNBA this time around. So, thanks to both ladies. Yes, Caitlin Clark is the main catalyst to this. I'm not gonna sit there and act like we're not stupid here. She's the main catalyst to this, but without Angel Reese, she's not that main catalyst. So it's like they both kind of have to have each other in order for it to be, to get it where it got to right now.
I believe it was the year before last finals where they tried to vilify them going back and forth because of the color.
Yep, the ring finger
where she was like this.
Yeah, the ring finger. I mean, it's competitiveness.
You're competitive.
It's healthy competition,
right? And then people took it to oh my gosh, she hates it. No, it's Bird and Magic. It's Bird and Magic WNBA style. Yeah. And I'm not saying that they're Bird and Magic, but it's Bird and Magic. The whole scenario, it's the same dream.
The way it's set up, yes. And I mean, they both are affecting the game the way that Bird and Magic did.
Exactly.
There's nobody that wanted to take on Larry Bird. I'm sorry, because he'd knock you out.
Yeah, Larry wasn't no joke. I watched some old highlights of Larry Bird maybe a couple months ago. Bird I was like, whoa, Larry.
The story where he played the entire game left-handed.
Yeah,
scored 40.
He was it's seductive because he's not quick. Like it's so like crazy. Like he's not like it's just like up, but you still couldn't stop him. That's Larry Legend, man. That's Larry Legend. James,
fundamentals great.
Fundamentals were great. James, we head to you, brother. Time for you to put out the fire.
I guess we could spread it out a little bit this week. The 49ers. I know finally the saga is over with Brandon Ayuk, but really, did we honestly have to drag it out this long if we knew this was where we're going to end up at? I mean, it's honestly been ridiculous, bro. I want to be here. I don't want to be here. Trade me. No, I want to stay. Oh, we have a trade in place. He just doesn't want to accept an extension. I mean, I felt like we went around the world in 180 days just to get back and find the destination was where we started. I mean, we did all this extra stuff, and for what? For what? You kept the guy. You signed him to a deal that I think y'all already had in your back pocket. We just had to do all this extra stuff for no reason. And now at this point, you still have to go ahead and get Trent back on the field because guess what? If you can't keep Brock Purdy upright, it doesn't matter how much money you pay Brandon Ayuk. Purdy can't give him the ball on his back. So figure out Trent Williams
you didn't
next.
do it. You should have said it ain't going to be Purdy.
He was hoping they was going to button it up.
Could have said that one. Well, hey, we'll say that one for next week. And also to Jay's point for NIL, when do we start to see where some of these NFL teams are like, look, dude, you made all this money in college. You're not about to come in here and break our pockets either. Like, we know you sitting on dough from a couple of years now. It's like, look, we need you to take this little sweetener or else you're going to be out of here. Like, for instance, for wide receivers, we know wide receivers are starting to be, in a sense, like running backs, where the market for, middle tier, third tier guys, it's like, look, either you're taking this or we're moving on. When do we start to see where the NIL money kind of comes into the league and it's like, well, look, we know you made this much in college. We can offer you this, take it or leave it. You can go somewhere else. Maybe your numbers are better. Maybe they're worse. Maybe your next contract isn't anything. Good thing you got the NIL money to fall back on. I mean, there's so many avenues that NIL could take. I do agree with Jay where when it comes to the high school level, they definitely need to figure that out. I mean, I think nationwide, I think there's 11 states where NIL is not accepted. I think Texas is one of those states where,
That's
Texas
crazy.
is a football power state.
Ooh.
And they don't do NIL on a legal level in the state. There's no NIL contracts. And so at that point, when do we start to see high schoolers transfer to other states that allow it? I mean, that could hurt a lot of these football powers, especially for Texas. So, I mean, they need to figure something out where it's either, hey, look, seniors in high school only, rising seniors that have signed a letter of intent, at that point, you can give them an NIL deal. Or
I like that idea.
Or is it just going to be open market? I mean, because honestly, it's growing faster than what they expected, and it's starting to impact way more kids, way more families. It's getting out of hand at this point. It's doing way more than they thought it would.
Well, that's why Caleb Williams didn't want to sign his rookie contract because of the NIL money. He wanted part ownership with the Bears, which is illegal. You can't do that by the bylaws in an NFL.
I'll tell you, look, I'm not mad.
They had him pay him like he's a corporation too, though, right? Like, I mean, that's the other weird thing that NIL is going to do. It's going to give players more options as well too. For, hey, I don't want to sign with you. I don't need to sign with you because I do have my NIL money to fall back on. So it's a double-edged sword. It can help teams and players in the future.
So I think, but at some point, does that hurt the player? Because let's say obviously they're going to be making the money in NIL, but your college eligibility does run up after a certain point. So let's say that you're Caleb Williams. You say, oh, man, you know what? I can fall back on this. Yeah, you can. But what's going to happen when now you're not eligible to play in the league, or the league decides, okay.
And there's that Miami tight end that's got going on year 9.
Well, I mean, that's true. That's true. And the NCAA might let it fly just so they can have, 45.
That's like, what, 32 in college still? God.
Yeah. My man, I saw that the Miami guy's in his 9th year. It's crazy work.
You're like, man, he looks like a grown man out there. He is a damn grown man out there. My man got 3 kids, a mortgage, and 2
got a mortgage
in college.
Oh, man. So, look, for my put out the fire, it's not even really a fire thing. Mostly other than, hey, look, college football is underway. I'm excited about college football being back. We got high school football starting here. Technically, some of them started last week, but the majority of them start this week. And obviously the NFL start next week. So for all the football fans out there, just sit back and enjoy greatness for the next 6 months. That 6 months that we were away from it, it felt like, it's going to take forever to get back. But guess what? It is here now. Yep. It is here now. When we come back on the air, the season will be there. We'll be right there in the midst. So I'm excited.
We're there because, Florida State, really? Come on. We were trying to talk you guys.
Yeah. The Florida State situation was crazy. But I'm not surprised, but this is the part of me where I back the ACC because of what they've done for us as a network. That's what you get, Florida State. And I hope Clemson gets it too. Y'all want to run out the door so fast, and then y'all can't get the dubs. You can't beat the ACC teams, baby.
But we need Clemson to beat Georgia so we get an ACC team in that 12 pool.
Yeah.
because I really want to go to another playoff game.
Hey, we got to.
I mean, we might can see that still. We might can see that. I think there's going to be a couple of dark horse teams this year in the ACC that, if everything falls their way, they could probably make some noise.
It's going to be a fun college football season. There's a game happening next week. I had no clue, and I wish I'd have known about it. NC State taking on Tennessee and Charlotte, and the Duke mayonnaise classic, which that's the first time I heard it, but it's like the Duke mayonnaise classic.
The bowl games to the beginning of the season.
I guess it's not the bowl.
You know, it's like kickoff week. They always have
so it's like a kickoff kickoff classic type thing. But they're playing. NC State is playing against Tennessee in Charlotte at Bank of America. So that should be a fun one. But it's gonna be a fun next couple of weeks. And I'm very excited to see what football season takes us this year. The best part of the year is here, fellas. Now, before we get out of here, Jay, is there anything you want to say before we go?
Love your people. God bless. To my friend Derek and Becca's friend Rachel, sorry about their loss. Their baby puppy passed away right before the show. He was a sweetheart.
Our prayers going out to them. James, anything you want to say before we go, brother?
Hey, appreciate it. Thanks for being back another week. Hey, shout out to everybody out there that was listening, tuning in, and watching. As always, be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe. Check out all the great stuff we got here at the Legacy Maker Sports Network. And after this, I'm tuning in to Colorado versus North Dakota State.
That's right.
Go Buffs.
Go Buffs. That's right, baby. College football under no more college football. The game we still gonna play that, but now it's time to go watch some games to see what
we're gonna play that while watching the game.
Look. All right, everybody. That is it. This has been episode 75 of Legacy on Fire here on the Legacy Maker Sports Network and airing on Bowie Television. Once again, everybody, thank you all for tuning in. We'll see you all next week for episode 76. So until then, be safe and have a good one.